hindsight. About the dividends, all that other shit, no significance. Street of all Southside, the area I represent, the life I live. I spit the truth, not to excite the kids. Just making right the sins, I'm trying to wipe their lens. Like gloves, so I never have to wipe the prince. King of kings, man amongst men, you ride the bench.
Welcome back to the Grit Culture. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button before we get started. And man, let's talk about it. So Brian Flores, former recent Miami Dolphins head coach, he was recently fired. Now, for what reason? Well, we asked that question, what reason? Given his success that he had in Miami, going 10-6, going 9-8 this season. Of course, there was an extra game tacked on, 17-game schedule. But despite how they started, I think they started 1-7 and finished 9-8. So they finished extremely strong, especially with injuries, limited star power on the team. As far as you got Tua trying to develop him, and they had Jacoby Brissett for a healthy part of the season. So I'd say he's done a pretty damn good job, and he should at least had at least one more season to try to make something happen, or probably even longer than that. It's all subjective. But after he was fired, of course, he got some head coaching, got some offers from different places, namely the Giants. And it's turned out pretty ugly, man. It's turned out ugly. First of all, he's filing a lawsuit against the Giants, the Dolphins, and I believe the Bills. He's alleging discrimination because he allegedly believed that he was supposed to be the one that received the job offer, and they gave it to Brian Daboll instead. From his talks that he was having, from the team office, from the Giants, the Giants office and everything, it sounded like the job was his to take. Now he worked under, he was under Bill Belichick, which most of the team seems like they come from under that Bill Belichick tree. He worked under Bill Belichick for a while, so he has a relationship with him. And Belichick had texted him, congratulating him on winning the position with the Giants. And Flores, confirmed to make sure, either talking about me, Brian Flores, or Brian Daboll. And I guess Belichick took another look and said, damn, my bad. Read it wrong. He's also, did I mention he's suing the Broncos? He said that his interview with the Broncos went bad. He said they interviewed him, but John Elway showed up drunk from the previous night or whatever and was late. Basically not professional. Now, what he's alleging from, what took place with the Dolphins is that Stephen Ross, who's been classified by, numerous Dolphins players. Matter of fact, you'll hear a few of them talk about it on, what's the podcast with Brandon Marshall, Ocho Cinco. Now, I know they just split up recently, a lot of them, but Channing Crowder and all of them, Fred Taylor. I forget the name, but they spoke about it on there. I Am Athlete spoke about how Stephen Ross is basically a piece of shit. He's always been that. So what's being alleged about him is probably seems to be consistent with his character. And what's being alleged is something that I don't believe people are surprised about. Flores is alleges that Ross was offering him $100,000 to throw games for each game that he throws, so they could get a good draft position and draft high up. I don't know why anybody's surprised by that. Also, Flores alleges that Ross wanted him to recruit a good quarterback, which would have violated the league's tampering rules. And Flores wasn't willing to go along with that. He didn't want to get caught up in any scandal, which is smart. But, it's one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't situations, because, as a, black coach, they're going to throw your ass under the bus if something does come, down, but then you don't listen. You got stuff like this that can happen. You get fired for not following the orders of that owner. All right? So, they even said they scheduled a meeting at a yacht, and then had scheduled a meeting at a yacht with Flores, and then conveniently had a quarterback, show up. And Flores left, got the hell up out of there. He didn't want no parts of that. Now, as far as the throwing games and the, all of that, that's been an easy fix. I don't know how the NFL hasn't figured this out or gone with this, like, start a lottery. Do like the NBA and do lottery picks. The way the NFL does this is stupid. And teams just going out just throwing games and playing like crap, and then they automatically get rewarded with the number one pick. That's horrible. Make it chance-based, like the NBA. Now, if you do, you get the worst record, you have a higher chance, but it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. But yeah, going in there and you just pretty much just guarantee you sit up there and go 0-16. Oh, and Hugh Jackson's actually come out also, and he's backing up Brian Flores in his lawsuit and saying that the Browns told him to do the same thing. Like I said, this is all alleged. I don't know if it's true, but I can definitely see it happening. Something I spoke about for years. Why doesn't the NFL have lottery picks instead of doing just straight up going off a record? That is dumb and a disaster waiting to happen, like you're seeing now. So hopefully they'll learn from that. Maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, as far as the head coach and hiring and everything like that, it's pretty foul that God, people keep calling. It's pretty foul that Bill Belichick, he knows what's going on before Brian Flores knows what's going on. He's getting confirmation of what's going on up in there, and they're communicating back with him. He's with the New England Patriots. Now, we do all know that it's a whole, camaraderie that they have going on in the NFL and, with their friends and all of that, but still, that's bad. You talking business dealings and stuff like that with somebody that has nothing to do with it as far as, the personal business. What's Belichick doing knowing that beforehand? Before Flores does. So that looks terrible on the Giants' part. But as far as, when it comes to stuff like this, you do have to bring attention to it. I think this is, things like this, you have to bring attention to it. You do want to see more, I guess, you want to see more diversity in those certain positions. But at the same time, how do you make a change like that? They still going the direction that they've chosen to go with, even with implementing the Rooney Rule and different things like that. So they have to have a set quota, which, even with that, that kind of says, that coach, whatever, that black coach or whatever, just like it is in the real, real world when you're working or whatnot, and they make these diversity hires. It's basically all they're saying, that you're only here because we had to have you here. And that's what they're saying in the NFL when they have to implement rules like that. So it's not based off his merit and what he's done and how good of a coach he is. It's just, we got you here because we need a black coach, and you fill that position. It's pretty embarrassing. But how you fight something like this, as far as, there may be certain things on, in between that, shouldn't take place, as far as, when it comes to getting down to business. Like I said, like communicating, the terms and communicating the outcome with other teams that have nothing to do with it. That might be a problem. But as far as, trying to prove that race was what it is, where, it very well could be, but trying to prove it, being able to prove it, is a whole nother thing. Because, of course, what they wanted with, their initiatives that they've taken in the NFL, they need a certain amount of interviews and for black candidates and stuff like that. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go ahead and get the black candidates out the way. Go ahead, give them an interview, and bam, we got you. Okay, now let's go ahead and get our guy that we need. We already got the black candidates out the way. This is a problem you're always going to run into when you settle for diversity hires. It's not going to be a sincere hire. It's not going to be a sincere interview. You run the risk of that. That's not to say that there aren't owners and coaches that do want, black coaches and, and all of that. But you definitely highly run the risk of that happening. It's not going to be sincere at all. So, if you feel like that's a problem, bring it up. Don't be scared to bring it up. There could be, certain consequence that could try to shut you out. That'll show within itself, though, in the NFL. That'll make the NFL look bad. If they do shut you out, right? Like they did Kaepernick. But that's why you got to pick, but you got to pick your battles when it comes to this. Speak up, but understand, you could be, you could affect change. You could affect change. The owners now may not be listening, but their offspring could change. Small possibility could change and decide that they want to be the change and start, having more black GMs, black head coaches and stuff like that. So this is why you speak to the public. That's why, I don't think it's, I think it's crazy when people say, just act like these guys should just shut up. Like, no, you never know what change you could be affecting by touching these ears. But as far as, trying to get an owner to change something, that's at their discretion, who they want to hire. And they can always hide behind, hey, we picked the best person for the best candidate for the position. They can always hide behind that, unless you can, with physical evidence, without a shadow of doubt, prove that it was based on race. Well, I say, man, if y'all want real change and immediate change, and without, banking on hoping that there's a change in the psychology later on down, generations, without trying to bank on that and bet on it, start your own league. But you understand that y'all not going to be making the same money that y'all making now. You're probably not going to be getting funded by taxpayer money. That's just the risk that you're going to run. But, you'll have black coaches, black, GMs, black owners. You'll have all of that. In the end, you got to ask, is it worth it? Or do you need to go through this league, get your money, and get out so you can make change in the infrastructure of society instead of the NFL? That's not saying that, it's not important, or, a lot of people have dreams. They want to coach on a high level and stuff like that. But, which is more important, society or a game of football? So a lot of guys are going in, they're getting their millions. People keep calling. They're going in, getting their millions, and they taking it back to their communities, or taking it back to their families, and affecting change and putting people in better positions and creating generational wealth if done the correct way. And so it's like, screw the NFL, get in, get out, get what you need. I ain't trying to stick around with these white boys in there and have to play their little politics, because that's what it's always going to be. That's what it's always going to be. No matter if they put in more rules for more diversity, it's going to be politics, and nothing will be natural. So let me know what you think in the comment section. I definitely believe Flores needs another chance in the NFL. He needs a job. And, hopefully don't lock him out. It's going to look bad on the NFL if they decide that nobody else wants to hire him because he's going against the brotherhood and all that. But let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll holler at y'all later.